An eagle is a pet that hugs you, a friend who shows up anywhere for you, and a mission to save the world. Peacemaker is one of those DC characters that nobody really knew before. But after his series, everyone became his fan. And now that Peacemaker Season 2 is about to arrive, I thought, why not remind you of Season 1? So friends, welcome to a new episode of Super Recap, where I'll be bringing you the recap of Peacemaker Season 1. Without wasting any more time, let's get started. Episode 1, A Whole New World. After getting injured during the events of the Suicide Squad, Peacemaker, Christopher "Chris" Smith, recovers in a hospital and gets discharged after 5 months. He's confused why no one has come to take him back to Belle Reve prison. He returns to his trailer home in Evergreen, but peace doesn't last long. Soon, a team shows up, led by Clemson Murn, with members Leota Adebayo and Argus agents Emilia Harcourt and John Economos. Murn gives Chris two choices: either go back to Belle Reve or join their mission called Project Butterfly, arranged by Amanda Waller. Chris reluctantly accepts. Murn warns him that if he tries to escape, the bomb implanted in his head back during the Corto Maltese mission is still active. Chris visits his racist father, Augie, to bring back his pet eagle, Eagly. From him, he also needs a new outfit and helmet. Later, during dinner with the team, Murn gives Chris a dossier of their targets. On the way back, Chris spots Emilia Harcourt at a bar and awkwardly asks if she wants to have fun with him. She declines. Chris then meets another woman, Annie Sturphausen. At Annie's apartment, Chris finds her music collection. But as soon as he plays a song, Annie suddenly attacks him with superhuman strength. Chris struggles to defend himself, manages to reach his helmet, and activates its sonic boom, killing Annie. Meanwhile, we also learn that Leota Adebayo is Amanda Waller's daughter, secretly planted in the team as her informant. Waller orders her to plant a diary in Chris's home. Episode 2, Best Friends for Never. After killing Annie, Chris immediately calls Harcourt and explains what happened. Meanwhile, Evergreen police arrive, with Detective Sophie Song and Larry Fitzgibbon investigating the sonic boom. Inside Annie's apartment, Chris collects his clothes and steals her music collection, where he also discovers an alien device. Just then, Detective Song spots him, but doesn't recognize him. Still, the officers pursue him. With Harcourt and Adebayo's help, Chris escapes, though he briefly holds a couple, Amber and Evan Calcaterra, hostage in the process. The problem: Chris's destroyed car is left behind, risking their mission being compromised. In a rush, Economos changes the car registration and fingerprints to Chris's father Augie's name. As a result, when Amber and Evan identify the suspect, Augie is arrested. In prison, other inmates salute Augie as the notorious White Dragon. When the team questions Chris, he admits Annie attacked him after seeing the mission dossier. Back in his trailer, Chris breaks down, still guilt-ridden for killing Rick Flag earlier. Suddenly, Vigilante, fully suited up, appears, eager to be Chris's friend. But Chris doubts himself, wondering if killing people for peace really makes sense. Vigilante distracts him by bragging about his collection of appliances to test weapons on. Together, they blow up the appliances for fun. Later, Chris notices the alien device transforms into a tiny spaceship when a button is pressed. Episode 3, Better Goff Dead. Chris informs the team about the mini spaceship. Their new mission: assassinate U.S. Senator Royland Goff, who is confirmed to be a butterfly. If his wife and children are butterflies too, they must be eliminated as well. Chris hesitates at the thought of killing children, but the team insists it's necessary only if they're infected. The team stakes out Goff's house. Vigilante also joins. They observe the family behaving strangely, confirming suspicion. Murn orders Chris to take the shot, but Chris freezes. Seeing his hesitation, Vigilante takes over and kills Goff's wife and kids. Suddenly, Goff's bodyguard, Judo Master, attacks, overpowering Chris, Vigilante, and Harcourt. Chris and Vigilante are captured and tied up in the basement. Meanwhile, Adebayo rescues Harcourt by shooting another guard. Goff sends Judo Master to inform someone named the Gland Tie about the situation, but Economos rams his car to stop him. In the basement, Goff unmasks Vigilante, revealing him as Adrian Chase, Chris's close friend. Goff begins torturing Adrian to force Chris to talk. Just then, Myrn, Harcourt, and Adebayo blast open the basement wall with an explosive. Chris escapes during the chaos and kills Goff, only for a butterfly to crawl out of his destroyed head. On their computer, the team discovers thousands of butterfly suspects across the globe. Episode 4, The Chode Less Traveled. Chris tells the team he killed the butterfly inside Goff. They capture Judo Master, tying him up at headquarters while treating his injuries. Vigilante, Adrian Chase, takes Chris to Augie's house to get new helmets. Chris explains that Augie's storage is built using interdimensional tech. There, Augie's neighbor informs him the police took Augie away. Meanwhile, Myrn and Adebayo try convincing Chris it was all done in haste, but they're working on fixing it. Chris storms off to meet his father, confessing that his team framed him because they're fighting against an alien invasion. Augie, furious, declares that he will tell the police everything so that his foolish son will stop working with traitors to the country. Outside the police station, Adebayo speaks to Adrian, telling him that for Chris's own good, his terrible father must be eliminated. Hearing this, Adrian deliberately gets himself arrested and, once in prison, beats up Augie's fellow inmates to provoke him. Augie, however, realizes that they're trying to push him into doing something rash. Meanwhile, Chris and Adebayo return to headquarters, only to discover that Judo Master has escaped. A rematch between him and Chris begins. Chris is winning, and just as Judo Master is about to reveal something important about the butterflies, Adebayo shoots him. Though not killed, he is tied up again. Myrn instructs Economos to arrange Adrian's release from prison. It is also revealed that Vigilante's real name is Adrian Chase. Back at his trailer, Chris is shown to be hiding Goff's butterfly alive inside a jar. Still, he feels awful, haunted by memories of his father forcing him to kill as a child, the death of his brother, and a recent memory of Rick Flag's death. On the other side, Adebayo investigates and discovers information about Glandai, a bottling company connected to the butterflies. When she informs Myrn, it is revealed to the audience that Myrn himself is a butterfly. Episode 5, Monkey Dory. Myrn explains the truth about the butterflies. They enter through any opening in the body, reach the brain, and take full control of humans. They have already possessed celebrities, industry leaders, and politicians, which is why any investigation against them always gets shut down from higher up. Once inside a human body, butterflies not only control them, but also increase their strength, feeding on a special kind of fluid. Myrn sends the team to raid the bottling plant run by Glandai. There, they discover that the butterfly food is being mass-produced. Using his X-ray helmet, Chris begins eliminating humans controlled by butterflies. Suddenly, a gorilla named Charlie, taken over by a butterfly, attacks them. Just when things get desperate, Economos arrives with a chainsaw and kills the gorilla, earning Chris's respect for the first time. The mission ends successfully. Meanwhile, in prison, Augie asks Detective Song and Fitzgibbon to recheck his fingerprints. Song notices discrepancies, and the witnesses also admit that it was actually Peacemaker who tied them up, not Augie. But Myrn arranges for his contact, Locke, to become Evergreen's new police captain. Locke refuses to listen to Detective Song's objections and keeps Augie in prison. Frustrated, Song goes to her uncle, a judge, and gets an arrest warrant issued for Peacemaker, Christopher Smith. Later, Chris invites Adebayo to his home for drinks. Taking advantage of the opportunity, she secretly plants the diary Amanda Waller had given her inside his house. Afterward, Adebayo returns to headquarters, where she notices Chris's X-ray helmet. Out of curiosity, she tries it on and discovers Myrn's shocking secret, that he is a butterfly. Just then, Myrn confronts her. Episode 6, Myrn After Reading. Myrn tackles Adebayo to the ground, but Harcourt arrives and reassures Adebayo that both she and Economos already discovered Myrn's secret during the explosion at Goff's house. They never told Waller because they don't trust her. Myrn then explains the truth, The butterflies come from a dying planet. At first, they lived peacefully on Earth, but Goff's butterfly decided to take over the world, and Myrn was the only one who opposed their plan. Meanwhile, Detective Song releases Augie and carries out the arrest warrant against Chris. Myrn's ally Locke informs him about this, and Myrn warns Chris and Adrian that the Evergreen police are outside his home. Chris and Adrian quietly try to slip away, but Song follows them. In the struggle, the jar containing Goff's butterfly breaks, and the butterfly enters Detective Song, taking control of her mind. Locke then discovers the diary that Adebayo had planted in Chris's home. Under butterfly influence, he kills 3 officers and uses the diary as fake evidence against Peacemaker. Chris escapes with Adrian's help and immediately informs the team that Goff's butterfly is now controlling Detective Song. Economos, tracking the butterfly activity, discovers that the source of their food supply is in Covernal Ranch. Meanwhile, butterfly-possessed Detective Song summons more butterflies, who take over the entire Evergreen Police Department and its prisoners, including Fitzgibbon and Locke. The butterfly-controlled Locke, then, makes Peacemaker's fake diary public. The fake diary is used to frame Peacemaker for Annie Sturfson's death, the massacre at Glantai, and the murders of Senator Goff and his family. Meanwhile, Augie gathers his racist group, dons his white dragon costume, and swears to kill his own son. Episode 7. Stop Dragging My Heart Around. Chris remembers his childhood when his father, Augie, forced him and his older brother to fight each other while betting on them. During one of those fights, Chris accidentally killed his brother. In the present, Chris sets out with Adrian, Economos, and Eagly to kill the butterfly's food source, a giant alien cow. But Augie, in his white dragon suit, attacks them with his followers. A violent battle breaks out, during which Augie injures Eagly. Adrian, recalling the weak points in Augie's suit from his lab, attacks the gaps and disables it. Chris survives, and Economos guns down the racist followers. Finally, Chris confronts his father, tells him the truth about his brother's death, and when Augie still berates him, Chris can no longer hold back. He kills his father. Meanwhile, Harcourt realizes that Adebayo betrayed Chris by planting the fake diary. Adebayo admits it and also reveals that she is Amanda Waller's daughter. She decides to leave the team. At the same time, butterfly-controlled police officers arrive at Myrn's location. Detective Song, now controlled by a butterfly, kills Myrn and the butterfly inside him. The judo master also escapes and attacks Harcourt and Adebayo, but they manage to capture him again. The team regroups at a veterinary clinic where Eagly is recovering. Adebayo, who is set on leaving, changes her mind when she sees Chris praying for Eagly's life. She decides to stay and fight alongside them. With Myrn gone, the team makes Harcourt their new leader. She explains that their only way to stop the butterflies is to destroy their sole food source, the giant cow, which the butterflies are preparing to teleport elsewhere. On the way, Adebayo apologizes to Chris, but he tells her their friendship is over. Meanwhile, the enormous cow is revealed, and preparations for its teleportation begin. Episode 8. It's Cow or Never. Chris is still angry with Adebayo and tells her that after his brother's death, he swore never to let another loved one die, and he would kill if necessary. Adebayo reminds him that his brother's death was an accident and shouldn't define his whole life. The team arrives at Coverdale Ranch. Adebayo calls her mother, Waller, asking for backup, even the Justice League, if needed. But Waller explains that no one can arrive in time. The team then decides to use Peacemaker's helmets. Economos plants the Sonic Boom helmet, which is activated multiple times, but the underground cow survives. Chris, Harcourt, and Adrian advance, killing many butterflies, though Harcourt and Adrian are injured. Adebayo steps in during the fight, saving Harcourt. Chris, buried under rubble, is rescued by butterfly-controlled Detective Song, who pleads with him for help. She explains that the butterflies only want to protect Earth from humans who care more about profit than the planet itself, and that Chris, deep down, wants the same thing, to kill in order to save lives. Chris is moved by her words, but then he notices Adebayo's torpedo helmet. Activating it again, he launches Adebayo, strapped to the helmet, straight into the giant cow, killing it. Chris then shoots Butterfly Lock and Butterfly Song, releasing the Goth Butterfly. After the battle, the Justice League finally arrives, but Chris mocks them, shouting that they are too late and should go have fun with fish. Harcourt, Economos, and Adrian are hospitalized. Chris forgives Adebayo, calling her his best friend. She then goes public, exposing Project Butterfly, Task Force X, and all of Amanda Waller's operations to the press, clearing Chris and Adrian's names. Chris returns home to Eagly, where the Goth Butterfly visits him. Chris feeds it the last remaining fluid. As he sits outside, visions of his father, Augie, still haunt him. And that's the full recap of Peacemaker Season 1, saving you hours while still giving every juicy detail. Now you're all set to enjoy Season 2. But here's the real question. Who will create tech for Peacemaker now? How will the new DCU connect to Season 1? And how will Peacemaker travel to a new dimension through Augie's secret storage? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to like, subscribe to support the channel. Thank you guys.